wanted to play a clip to start the show from George Carlin from 2005. Now, I think he may transition 3 years after this. George Carlin said a lot of things under the guise of comedy, and it was not comedy. It was social comedy. People were laughing, but what he said, I'm listening to this, and I'm like, damn it, if it's not today. So we're going to talk about book banning today. Let me just be honest. I will not be using my time on this platform telling y'all every day what Trump is doing. I can't do it. I've checked out. I have checked out. If you want to get that information, I'm sure Clay and Reese probably going to cover it. I know Laria's going to be doing a lot of the law stuff, but there are other places you're going to get what Trump is doing today and who he appointed. If it's breaking news, we'll give it to you. And if it's cursory, maybe I'll come back from break and just give you a little rundown. But I am not spending a lot of time examining, litigating, cajoling, rubbing my hands. Now, I don't even want to bring back 5 minutes of Trump Smiz because I don't want to hear his voice. It triggers me. Let me just be honest. It makes my stomach hurt a little bit. And maybe that's not good, but I don't want to do it. So I'm just gotta be honest. There's a clip that I wanted to play from him today, and then I was like, I don't want to hear his voice talking about what he's going to do to education. So we'll just tell you. Education, if you have a Pell Grant or if you are a teacher somewhere and you think you want to teach anything that's historic or history based that puts black people in a light at all, he's coming for it. And he's saying he's going to give reparations to white people because he's going to penalize the schools and go after their endowments for teaching anything that makes white people feel bad. I'm paraphrasing. And I don't want to play him saying that because to me, I feel like that's an assault on y'all. And I'm not at all here to hurt anybody. I want everyone to thrive and prosper, be happy. But I also want to challenge everybody to be better. Are there ways in which you can be better? Can you be a better steward of this body, this bag of bones and sinew and muscle and blood and heart, lungs and organs and all kinds? Can you do better with this thing called life? Can you contribute something positive that can leave us a little bit better than we were yesterday? And if the answer is no, that's fine. This probably ain't the space for you because there's going to be a requirement. I don't even want to be around people that aren't about something. So yeah, I won't be playing that, but I'll tell y'all, you will get some information and news, but I just can't do it. I don't want to. So let me say it. I can, but I'm not going to. But let's play this George Carlin clip because it made me sit with
Listener discretion is advised.
The reason education sucks is the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money.
Ooh. 2008. This was a comedy set in 2008 by George Carlin. I'm sorry, 2005. He died in 2008. 2005, he died in 2008. You're right, Smith. 2005, this was a comedy set. 2005, 20 years ago. He said all of these things. 5 years later, Citizens United passed. Supreme Court ruled that corporations could be people, that they could donate to campaigns. And it was ironic because I was telling you about this conversation I was having with this man from Sweden. And he said, yeah, you guys don't have a democracy because how can you have a democracy when there's all of this money? When corporations could put so much money in a campaign, there's no one person, one vote. This is not fair. If a corporation can flood somebody's campaign with dollars, that's not equal. That's not fair. That's not a democracy. And I said, you know, that damn it, it's so right. And I knew this. When we started betting this cycle, people allowed for betting on the elections. This should have been an outcry. The Justice Department should have shut that ish down immediately. This is not American. This is not democracy. But maybe it is American, but it's definitely not democracy. It's definitely not fair and free and equal and all of the things that we want, hopefully, from our election cycle. This was not that. Not only are corporations people, but corporations are owning land. You know, he says they you know, this clip is so powerful because this man said this in 2005. This is before Bill Gates went and bought up 248,000 acres. I'm sorry, 270,000 acres of farmland. 270,000 acres of farmland. And let's not even talk about BlackRock. BlackRock holds the majority of single family houses in this country. But we have a homelessness, unhoused problem while corporations are buying up houses and then renting them at ridiculous rates to people. Corporations are benefiting. We got private prisons that are modeling on the stock exchange as real estate companies because they are. And our bodies, once again, our bodies are used to feed a system. And then on the other side, you got Elon Musk talking about a universal income plan because they're going to wipe out all of the jobs. This won't be a doomsday show ever. I'm telling you these things because we can do something about it right now. Everyone listening to my voice, I want you to really assess what you need to live in this world and be happy. Is it a new car? Is it a bigger house? Is it the next whatever? Like what is it that you actually need that will make you happy? And I think most of you will say health, good health will probably be at the top. If you're smart, good health will be at the top. Your family being good, I think that would be maybe number 2, you and your family being good, making sure your children and your spouse or whatever, like I think that would be up there. But we have been duped into believing that this American dream includes certain items, but it doesn't. And all we've done is fed a corporate giant that has never, ever cared about us. Even Ford, who is complicated, horrible anti-Semite and a host of other things, understood that if I want to sell more cars, I have to make the wages of the people who are making the cars affordable for them to buy my cars. But that wasn't altruistic. That was good, solid business sense, which has been abandoned completely because they know that people will, mortgage their home to buy certain things. And now we have debt. And isn't that beautiful? Who does that benefit? The banks. So I just think, what George Carlin said about critical thinking and the lack of it. He said this in 2005. And now we have an education system that has all but eradicated critical thinking with these standardized tests when children are only allowed to regurgitate some things that they fill out with a number 2 pencil and not really process and think about why, how, the very basic, have the kind of conversations. They don't play it. They don't know how to read sheet music. They don't know how to make, pancakes or wash clothes. They don't know how to build anything or take automotive and shop. They don't do anything but fill out little, and only good teachers, and now they're going to be in jeopardy. Only good teachers will introduce something into the classroom that's not on their curriculum sheet that's mandated. So maybe we had a caller yesterday talk about, all right, if they have vouchers for homeschooling, let's take advantage. I think that's a great idea. We're not victims. I don't think we should be holding ourselves and moaning. I think we should be active and say, okay, yeah, let's pay a couple of these teachers and do a quote unquote homeschooling and take the government's money, because if it's there for them, it should be there for us. And then if it's not there for us, then we should ask the question, right? Because it wouldn't be unusual. Government has done this before, to put forth a plan that would only serve white people. The whole New Deal only served white people until the 1970s. So from 1940 something to 1970 something, only white people benefited from the GI Bill, from the home loans, and all of the wonderful programs that built the middle class in this country and made America great. Because that's the period when they're talking about, by the way. See, I actually know what period they're talking about. I don't think they know, or if they do know, they are too cowardice to admit. The time when you had welfare, that's when America was great, when white people had welfare and black people had to figure things out, and they had to be subjugated and subordinate to, underneath you, and jump off of curbs, and yes, know them, and clean your house and your children's. It was still doing that. Yeah, that's when America was great, when you could call a black person the N-word and not have a problem. Well, they want those times back, and they've gotten them, looks like, as children in schools all over this country are now experiencing your body, my choice kinds of energy in the classroom with children. It should never be, but here we are. So it's time for us to do something. 866-801-8255.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.